Gusta Math!
Now we learn how to simplify rational expressions. So here you see that we have to factor out x squared plus x minus 12. So you will have 6 over x plus 4 and x minus 3. To find the excluded value, you have to put these equal to 0. So you're going to have x plus 4 equals 0 and x minus 3 equals 0. So you're going to subtract 4 from both sides. And you're going to add 3 to both sides. So the excluded values are negative 4 and 3. See, that was easy. Good job, mathletes. Now we're going to learn how to simplify rational expressions. So our problem here today is 5x cubed plus 20x squared over x plus 4. So first on the top we can factor by greatest common factor. And the greatest common factor is 5x squared. So when you factor it out, it's going to equal 5x squared times x plus 4 over x plus 4. So here you can see that x plus 4 and x plus 4 are the same, which means you can cancel them out. So this equals 5x squared over 1. We have one more step in finishing our simplifying rational expressions. But first we have to hear the recording of our problem.
Suppose a cone and a cylinder have the same radius and that the slant height L of the cone is the same as the height H of the cylinder. Find the ratio of the cone's surface area to the cylinder's surface area.
So we have to find the ratio of the cone to the cylinder. So that means you have to put the cone's equation over the cylinder's equation. So that's going to be pi RL plus pi r squared over 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. So first we have to factor them because you can't cancel them out because they're addition. So for the top we can factor out a pi r squared. So first we have to factor them because you can't cancel them out because they're addition. So for the top we can factor out a pi r, and this is going to be L plus r over, and on the bottom we can factor out a 2 pi r, and that's going to equal h plus r. Since they're multiplication, you can factor out a pi here and an r here, then you just multiply across. So it's going to be L plus r over 2 times h plus r. See, we're done. Good job, mathletes.
Congratulations! You have completed your first step in simplifying rational expressions. Now, we will go a step further and learn how to multiply and divide them. Let's get started. Our first example is 4a cubed over b cubed times ab over 6a squared. What do? Well, we see that a squared and a cubed both have a squared in common. When you factor out a squared, you get a 1, and you can factor this and change the exponent to a 1. Now, you see that you can also factor out b and b cubed, and you get 1 here, and you can simplify this to b squared. We also see that 4 and 6 can both be divided by 2. This equals 2, and this divided by 2 is 3. Now we multiply across to get our final answer. So 2a times a is 2a squared over 3b squared. Great job. Let's try another one. In this example, we have a squared b cubed over 6a cubed c times 9b squared over 12b to the 5th c squared. What do? We see that both 9 and 12 can be divided by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. We also see that b squared and b to the 5th both have b squared in common. Change this exponent to a 3. We also see that a squared and a cubed both have a squared in common. and you change this exponent to a 1. We can also cancel out 3 and 6 and divide them both by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. Now we can multiply across to get our final answer. We have b cubed over 4 times 2, which is 8 for our coefficient, a times b cubed, and c times c squared is c cubed. Now we see that both the b cubed can cancel out. Our final answer is 1 over 8ac cubed. Great job, mathletes! Now we're going to try another example, except this time we'll be dividing. We have 3x squared y cubed over x cubed z to the second divided by 6y to the fourth over x squared z to the fifth. What do we do first? Well, we remember that when we're dividing, we multiply by the reciprocal, which means we switch these two around. So 6y to the fourth goes on the bottom, and x squared z to the fifth goes on the top. Now we can multiply. We see that x squared and x cubed both have x squared in common, and change this to a 1. We also see that z squared and z to the fifth both have z squared in common, and change this to the 3. We also see that y cubed and y to the fourth can cancel, and change this exponent to a 1. We can also divide 3 and 6 by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. To get our final answer, we'll multiply across. We have x squared times z to the third over 2 times x, y. Now we can cancel x squared and x. We change this to a 1, and we cancel out the x. And now our final answer is xz to the third over 2y. Great job!
Nice! Now we're going to go a little further and master another branch of math, adding and subtracting rational expressions. Here we have x squared plus 1 over x minus 1, plus 1 minus 3x over x minus 1. Since we already have a common denominator, we'll just bring x minus 1 over to the other side. Then we're going to have to add all these terms. First, you're going to have x squared minus 3x plus 2. Then you're going to factor the top term. So it would be x minus 2 times x minus 1 over x minus 1. As we can see, there's something on the top and the bottom that are the same, x minus 1. And you're left with x minus 2 over 1, which is your answer. Next, we're going to learn how to subtract rational expressions. Here we have m squared plus 2m over m squared minus 9, minus m plus 12 over m squared minus 9. We'll take the common denominator and move it over. And then we'll subtract the numerator. So it would be m squared plus m minus 12. We could factor out the numerator and the denominator. So it would be m plus 4 times m minus 3. On the bottom, it's a difference of 2 squares. So it could be m plus 3 and m minus 3. The numerator and the denominator have an m minus 3, so you can cancel that out. and you're left with m plus 4 over m plus 3. Now we're going to learn how to solve expressions that have two different denominators. First, you see that we have 1 over m minus 3 minus 5 over 3 minus n. These two denominators are opposites. So what we're going to do is multiply by negative 1. So you're going to multiply the whole thing by negative 1. So that would equal negative 5 over m minus 3 now. So it'll be, the new equation is 1 over m minus 3 minus negative 5 over m minus 3. You bring over your common denominator, and then you're going to subtract a negative 5. So you change the signs. Here we have two expressions that do not have the same denominator. We have 5 over y squared minus 3 over 4y squared. We are going to multiply this whole thing by 4, and we're going to get 20 over 4y squared minus 3 over 4y squared. You take your common denominator, put it to the other side, and then you're going to subtract 20 minus 3, which is 17. And 17 over 4y squared is your answer.
Thank you for joining us at Gusta Math. Bye. Good job, Math.